Now we will see the circuit description. The circuit description we will study now. In the amplifier circuit, transistor is an active device which amplifies the signal by amplifying the current. Transistor is called as active device. It is active device. Transistor is an active device which amplifies the signal. Which amplifies this signal by amplifying the current. By amplifying the current is amplifies the signal. Now second, transistor amplifies the signal by drawing current from DC supply. Transistor amplifies the signal. Transistor amplifies the signal by drawing the currents from the VCC supply. This plus VCC supply, this voltage supply से वो एनर्जी गेन करता है और वो एम्पलीफाई करता है और उसको आउटपुट को मिलता है अपन को. ठीक है. नाउ थर्ड, resistors R1 and R2 provide a voltage divider bias to fix the operating point Q as shown in the graph. Resistors R1 and R2 provide voltage divider bias to fix the operating point Q. This R1 and R2 to provide the operating point Q, to stabilize the operating point Q. This operating point should be stabilized at one place. So for that purpose we will here connect R1 and R2. These two resistors are there. Okay. Now resistor RL is the load. This resistor RL is the load resistor. Okay. Resistors R is connected to stabilize the operating point. This resistance R is connected to stabilize this operating point. To stabilize this operating point, we have connected this RE. Now we will study the capacitor C. What is capacitor C? This capacitor C, this C capacitor to bypass is also called as bypass capacitor. It will bypass the AC signal across RE. It will bypass the AC signal across RE. Is bypass AC signal or across RE, and it is used to stabilize the gain. Gain of amplifier should be stabilized. For this purpose, we will use this capacitor CE. तो उसकी गेन रिड्यूस करने, उसकी गेन बढ़ाने के लिए अपन ने उसकी गेन बढ़ाने लेके हमने वो कनेक्ट किया है. उसकी गेन बढ़ाने लेके वहां पे सी कनेक्ट किया हुआ है. ठीक है. So that otherwise the gain of amplifier will be reduced. Okay. Now capacitors Cc1 and Cc2. What is use of this capacitor Cc1 and Cc2? They will couple the AC signal and block the DC flow. This Cc1 and this is Cc2. They will allow the AC signal to flow and block the DC signal. DC signal block करते हैं ये दोनों और AC सिग्नल को पास करते हैं दोनों. इसके लिए उसका यूज है कपलिंग कैपेसिटर Cc1 Cc2 कपलिंग कैपेसिटर. ओके. Now this first figure shows. Now this first figure shows with that. In this first figure, we can see that this is that input signal of 1 plus or minus 1 millivolt is applied to the transistor amplifier. This 1 millivolt signal is applied to this. This figure shows that 1 millivolt is applied to this base of capacitor. कैपेसिटर को अप्लाई किया हुआ है. उसका जो आउटपुट है वो आउटपुट अपन ने दिस we have taken this output across this load C. V naught is equal to VC. कलेक्टर के और इमीटर के बीच का जो वोल्टेज है वो उसको बोलेंगे आउटपुट वोल्टेज VC. which take from collector to the ground के बीच में वो VC लिया हुआ है. It's called V naught. To understand how amplifier is amplified by transistor amplifier, to understand how the signal is amplified by transistor amplifier, how the signal is amplified by transistor amplifier, we have drawn this graph. Okay, now it will give the following information. ये नीचे की